What if I told you that something you might be doing every single day in private, something that society has shamed and stigmatized for centuries, is actually one of the most powerful preventive health practices for your prostate? What if the very act that millions of men feel guilty about is scientifically proven to reduce your risk of prostate cancer by up to 30%, prevent painful prostatic conditions, and keep one of your most important glands functioning optimally well into old age? I know that sounds almost too good to be true, but stick with me for the next few minutes because we're about to dive deep into the fascinating science of what actually happens to your prostate when you masturbate every day. This isn't clickbait. This isn't pseudoscience, and this definitely isn't moral judgment. This is pure, evidence-based information that your doctor probably never discussed with you, but absolutely should have. Before we get started, I want to know where you're watching this from. Drop your country in the comment box right now. Are you tuning in from the United States, the UK, India, Australia, Canada, or somewhere else entirely? I'm genuinely curious to see how global this conversation reaches, because prostate health affects men everywhere, regardless of where you live. So go ahead. Pause for just 2 seconds, tell me your country in the comments, and then let's unlock the truth about daily masturbation and your prostate health. There's a question that millions of men think about but rarely discuss openly with anyone, not even their doctors. What is daily masturbation actually doing to your prostate? Is it helping, harming, or completely neutral? The internet is flooded with conflicting information, old myths, and fear-mongering that leaves men confused and anxious about a completely natural behavior. Today, we're going to cut through the noise and give you the scientific truth about what actually happens to your prostate when you masturbate every day. No shame, no judgment, just facts based on decades of urological research and clinical evidence. The relationship between ejaculation frequency and prostate health has been one of the most extensively studied topics in men's sexual health research over the past 3 decades. And the findings might surprise you if you've been exposed to outdated myths or religious stigma around masturbation. Let's start with what the gold standard research actually shows, rather than what your gym buddy or internet forums might claim. The most comprehensive study on this topic came from Harvard Medical School, where researchers followed over 30,000 men for nearly 2 decades to examine the connection between ejaculation frequency and prostate cancer risk. This wasn't a small survey or a short-term observation. This was rigorous, long-term epidemiological research tracking real health outcomes over years. What they found was striking and consistent. Men who ejaculated 21 or more times per month had approximately a 20 to 30% lower risk of developing prostate cancer compared to men who ejaculated 4 to 7 times per month. This protective effect remained significant even after controlling for other factors like age, diet, exercise, family history, and overall health status. The mechanism behind this protective effect relates to how the prostate functions as a gland. Your prostate is constantly producing prostatic fluid, which makes up a significant portion of your semen. This fluid contains various substances including proteins, enzymes, minerals like zinc, and citric acid. When this fluid sits stagnant in the prostate for extended periods without being ejaculated, several problematic things can occur at the cellular level. Potentially carcinogenic substances and metabolic waste products can accumulate in the prostatic ducts and acini, which are the tiny sacs where prostatic fluid is stored. Inflammation markers can increase when fluid remains static. Cellular turnover slows down when the gland isn't regularly stimulated to produce and expel fresh fluid. Regular ejaculation, whether through masturbation or partnered sex, essentially flushes out the prostate, preventing this accumulation and keeping the gland in an active, healthy state. Now, daily masturbation specifically translates to approximately 30 ejaculations per month, which places you well above that protective threshold identified in the research. This doesn't mean that more is always better without limits, which we'll discuss later, but it does mean that daily frequency is certainly not harmful to your prostate and likely provides significant protective benefits. The key distinction that many men don't understand is that the prostate isn't like a muscle that gets worn out from overuse. It's a gland that functions optimally when it's regularly stimulated to produce and release its secretions, much like how your liver works better when it's regularly processing and eliminating toxins rather than allowing them to build up. The outdated myths about masturbation causing prostate problems likely stem from several sources. Historical, religious, and cultural attitudes stigmatized masturbation and invented medical consequences to discourage the behavior. Early medical literature from the 18th and 19th centuries, which was heavily influenced by moral rather than scientific reasoning, claimed masturbation caused everything from blindness to insanity to genital atrophy. Some of these myths persisted well into the 20th century. Additionally, some men might confuse correlation with causation. A man experiencing prostate issues might also be masturbating frequently, but the masturbation isn't causing the prostate problem. More likely, he might be experiencing symptoms that make him more aware of his genital region, or he might be masturbating in an attempt to relieve discomfort. Another important aspect of the frequency factor is understanding that ejaculation frequency, whether achieved through masturbation or partnered sexual activity, shows the same protective effects. The prostate doesn't distinguish between how ejaculation occurs. What matters is the regular flushing and stimulation of the gland. This is important for men who might not have regular access to partnered sex due to being single, having mismatched libidos with their partner, or going through periods of separation. Masturbation serves as a legitimate form of prostate maintenance that contributes to long-term urological health. When you masturbate daily, your prostate undergoes specific physiological changes that are measurable, beneficial, and directly contribute to the organ's optimal function. Understanding these changes helps demystify what's actually happening inside your body and why urologists increasingly recognize regular ejaculation as a component of preventive health care for men. The most immediate change that occurs with daily masturbation is enhanced fluid turnover within the prostate gland. Your prostate continuously produces prostatic fluid at a relatively constant rate regardless of whether you're sexually active. This production doesn't stop just because you're not ejaculating. The fluid accumulates in the prostatic ducts and glandular structures, and when you go extended periods without ejaculation, this fluid becomes increasingly concentrated and stagnant. Think of it like a pool of water. A pool with regular circulation and fresh water being added stays clean and healthy. A stagnant pool becomes a breeding ground for problems. With daily ejaculation, you're essentially creating a high turnover environment where fresh prostatic fluid is constantly being produced and expelled, preventing the accumulation of concentrated secretions that can harbor inflammatory compounds or potentially mutagenic substances. At the cellular level, regular ejaculation stimulates increased metabolic activity throughout the prostate tissue. The act of sexual arousal and subsequent ejaculation triggers a cascade of hormonal and neurological signals that activate the prostatic cells. Blood flow to the prostate increases significantly during arousal, delivering fresh oxygen and nutrients while removing metabolic waste products more efficiently. This enhanced circulation doesn't just occur during the act itself, but creates lasting improvements in vascular health within the prostate tissue. The smooth muscle cells that line the prostatic ducts contract rhythmically during ejaculation, and this regular contractile activity keeps these muscles toned and responsive. Just like skeletal muscles benefit from regular use, the smooth muscle within your prostate maintains better function when it's regularly stimulated through the ejaculatory process. One of the most significant physiological changes observed in men who ejaculate frequently is reduced inflammatory markers within prostate tissue. Chronic low-grade inflammation in the prostate, a condition called chronic prostatitis or chronic pelvic pain syndrome, affects millions of men and can lead to discomfort, urinary symptoms, and potentially increased cancer risk over time. Research has shown that regular ejaculation helps reduce pro-inflammatory cytokines and increases anti-inflammatory compounds within the prostatic environment. The mechanical flushing effect removes cellular debris and inflammatory mediators that would otherwise accumulate. The increased blood flow delivers immune cells more effectively to maintain tissue health. The hormonal changes associated with orgasm and ejaculation have systemic anti-inflammatory effects that benefit the prostate along with other tissues. The prevention of prostatic stagnation is another crucial physiological change that deserves emphasis. Prostatic stagnation refers to the condition where prostatic fluid and cellular material accumulate in the gland's ductal system without being expelled. This stagnation can lead to several problems. Calcifications or prostatic stones can form from crystallized minerals in stagnant fluid, causing discomfort and potentially blocking ducts. Bacterial colonization becomes more likely when fluid sits stagnant, as bacteria have time to multiply in this nutrient-rich environment. Duct obstruction can occur when thick, concentrated secretions block the tiny passageways within the prostate. Daily ejaculation prevents all of these scenarios by maintaining constant flow and preventing any accumulation that could lead to these complications. The prostate also remains more active and responsive in its endocrine functions when regularly stimulated through ejaculation. Beyond producing prostatic fluid, your prostate also plays a role in hormone metabolism, particularly in converting testosterone to dihydrotestosterone and metabolizing various other hormones. Regular sexual activity and ejaculation help maintain the enzymatic systems responsible for these conversions at optimal levels. The prostate of a man who ejaculates daily tends to maintain better hormone receptor sensitivity and more efficient enzymatic activity compared to prostates that go long periods without ejaculatory stimulation. This enhanced endocrine function doesn't just benefit the prostate itself, but contributes to overall hormonal balance and male vitality. Another measurable change is improved prostatic compliance and reduced gland enlargement risk. Benign prostatic hyperplasia, or BPH, is the gradual enlargement of the prostate that affects most men as they age, causing urinary symptoms and reduced quality of life. While regular ejaculation doesn't prevent BPH entirely, research suggests that men with higher ejaculation frequencies throughout their lives tend to experience less severe BPH symptoms and slower rates of prostate enlargement. The regular stimulation and contraction of prostatic tissue appears to maintain the gland in a healthier size range and prevent some of the excessive cellular proliferation that characterizes BPH. Understanding the balance between too little and too much ejaculation is essential for optimizing prostate health, and this is where the concept of a Goldilocks zone becomes relevant. Like many aspects of human physiology, there's an optimal middle range where benefits are maximized while potential drawbacks are minimized. The good news is that this healthy range is quite broad, and daily masturbation comfortably falls within it for most men. On the too little end of the spectrum, infrequent ejaculation creates several documented problems for prostate health. Men who ejaculate fewer than 4 to 7 times per month face significantly higher risks of prostate cancer, as demonstrated in multiple large-scale studies. The mechanisms behind this increased risk are multifaceted. Prostatic fluid that remains in the gland for extended periods accumulates higher concentrations of potentially carcinogenic metabolites and oxidative stress compounds. The cellular turnover rate slows down when the prostate isn't regularly stimulated, which means damaged cells aren't being replaced as efficiently with healthy new cells. Inflammatory pathways become more active in prostates that aren't regularly flushed through ejaculation. The immune surveillance within prostatic tissue becomes less effective when blood flow remains chronically low due to infrequent sexual arousal. Additionally, infrequent ejaculation contributes to prostatic congestion, a condition where the gland becomes swollen and engorged with accumulated fluid, leading to discomfort, urinary symptoms, and a sensation of pressure or fullness in the pelvic region. Beyond cancer risk, men with very low ejaculation frequencies often experience other prostate-related symptoms. Chronic pelvic pain syndrome becomes more common. Post-ejaculatory discomfort can occur when finally ejaculating after long periods of abstinence, as the concentrated fluid and prostatic contractions can cause temporary pain or burning. Some men experience reduced force of ejaculation and less pleasurable orgasms when ejaculating infrequently, as the prostatic muscles lose some of their tone and contractile strength. The prostate may also become more susceptible to infection when fluid remains stagnant, providing an environment where bacteria can colonize more easily. On the opposite end of the spectrum, excessive masturbation does exist as a concept, though the threshold for what constitutes excessive is much higher than most men realize and varies considerably based on individual factors. True excessive masturbation that might cause issues typically involves multiple sessions per day, every single day, often driven by compulsive rather than genuine sexual desire. The potential issues from this level of frequency are generally temporary and reversible, rather than causing permanent damage to the prostate itself. Some men might experience temporary genital sensitivity or soreness from the mechanical friction rather than from prostate problems. Psychological issues can develop if masturbation interferes with work, relationships, or daily responsibilities, though this speaks more to compulsive behavior patterns than physical harm to the prostate. Very frequent ejaculation might temporarily reduce semen volume and sperm concentration if you're actively trying to conceive, though this recovers quickly with a day or two of abstinence. The critical point to understand is that the prostate itself is remarkably resilient to high ejaculation frequencies. Unlike joints that can wear out from overuse or muscles that can be overtrained, the prostate functions as a gland that's designed to produce and expel fluid regularly. There's no evidence that daily ejaculation, or even multiple daily ejaculations, cause prostate damage, inflammation, or dysfunction. The concerns about excessive masturbation are almost entirely related to psychological dependence, social functioning, or temporary genital irritation rather than actual prostate pathology. Daily masturbation, which translates to approximately 30 ejaculations per month, sits comfortably in the optimal zone identified by research. It's well above the low-frequency range associated with increased cancer risk and prostate problems. It's well below the compulsive frequency that might indicate psychological issues or cause temporary sensitivity problems. For the vast majority of men, daily masturbation represents a sweet spot where prostate health benefits are maximized without any of the potential drawbacks of either extreme. This frequency keeps the prostate actively producing and expelling fluid, maintains healthy cellular turnover, prevents congestion and stagnation, reduces inflammation, and provides protective effects against cancer and BPH. Individual variation does exist within this framework, and it's worth noting that some men naturally have higher or lower baseline libidos that influence their preferred ejaculation frequency. A man with a naturally high sex drive might feel best ejaculating once or even twice daily, while another man might find every other day more comfortable. The key is listening to your body and maintaining consistency rather than forcing yourself into a frequency that doesn't match your natural drive. As long as you're ejaculating regularly, meaning multiple times per week at minimum, you're providing your prostate with substantial health benefits, regardless of whether that's daily or slightly less frequently. The relationship between daily masturbation and prostate health changes significantly across different life stages, and understanding these age-dependent effects is crucial for optimizing your approach to prostate wellness throughout your lifetime. What benefits your prostate at 25 might need adjustment at 45 or 65, not because masturbation becomes harmful, but because your prostate's needs and vulnerabilities shift as you age. For younger men in their 20s and 30s, the prostate is generally in its healthiest state with optimal cellular function, minimal enlargement, and low cancer risk. During these decades, daily masturbation primarily serves as preventive maintenance and establishes healthy patterns that will pay dividends later in life. The prostate at this age responds vigorously to regular ejaculation with excellent fluid production and strong muscular contractions. Young men typically have abundant testosterone and robust sexual function, making daily ejaculation easy to achieve and highly beneficial for establishing the habit of regular prostate drainage. Research suggests that ejaculation frequency during these earlier decades may be particularly important for long-term cancer prevention, as this is when cellular patterns are being established and when accumulated damage from stagnation can set the stage for problems decades later. As men enter their 40s and 50s, the prostate begins undergoing natural changes that make regular ejaculation even more important. This is the age range when BPH typically begins, with the prostate gradually enlarging and potentially causing urinary symptoms. Prostate cancer risk also increases significantly starting around age 50, with the majority of prostate cancers diagnosed in men over 65. During this critical transition period, maintaining daily or near-daily ejaculation frequency becomes increasingly protective. The regular flushing helps counteract the tendency toward prostatic congestion that worsens with age. The enhanced blood flow from regular sexual activity helps maintain healthier prostatic tissue, even as hormonal changes are occurring. Men in this age range who maintain higher ejaculation frequencies show better prostate health markers and fewer urinary symptoms related to BPH compared to those with infrequent ejaculation. For men over 60, the prostate often requires even more attention as enlargement becomes more pronounced and cancer risk reaches its peak. While some men experience declining libido and sexual function at this age due to testosterone decline, medications, or health conditions, maintaining regular ejaculation through masturbation becomes a valuable tool for prostate health maintenance. Older men may find that daily ejaculation is more challenging to achieve compared to their younger years, but even maintaining a frequency of several times per week provides substantial benefits. The mechanical drainage becomes particularly important for preventing urinary retention and reducing infection risk in enlarged prostates. Some urologists specifically recommend regular ejaculation to older patients as part of comprehensive prostate care, alongside other interventions like medications or dietary changes. Knowing that daily masturbation benefits your prostate is valuable information, but understanding how to optimize this practice for maximum prostate wellness takes your health to the next level. There are specific strategies, complementary nutrients, and warning signs that every man should understand to ensure his approach to ejaculation frequency truly serves his long-term prostate health. The optimal frequency range for most men falls between 21 and 31 ejaculations per month, which translates to approximately 5 to 7 times per week or roughly once daily. This range consistently shows up in research as providing maximum protective benefits against prostate cancer while maintaining healthy prostatic function. You don't need to hit exactly daily frequency with rigid precision. Some weeks you might ejaculate 5 times, other weeks 8 times. What matters is the overall pattern of regular, frequent ejaculation over months and years, rather than perfect daily consistency. The key is avoiding long stretches of multiple days or weeks without ejaculation, as this is when prostatic congestion and stagnation begin causing problems. There are specific signs that might indicate you're overdoing it, though these are rare with daily frequency and typically only appear with multiple daily sessions sustained over time. Physical soreness or irritation of the penis or genital area that doesn't resolve within a day suggests excessive mechanical friction. If masturbation is interfering with your work productivity, social relationships, or daily responsibilities, this indicates problematic compulsive behavior rather than a physical issue, but still warrants adjustment. Difficulty achieving or maintaining erections during desired partnered sexual activity might occur if you're masturbating so frequently that you're depleting your sexual energy, though this is uncommon with once daily frequency. Psychological distress, guilt, or shame around your masturbation habits suggests you may benefit from examining your relationship with the behavior regardless of physical frequency. Complementary nutrients can significantly enhance the prostate health benefits of regular ejaculation. Zinc is absolutely critical for prostate function, as prostatic fluid contains some of the highest zinc concentrations in the body. Each ejaculation depletes zinc stores, so men who ejaculate daily should ensure adequate zinc intake through diet or supplementation, typically 15 to 30 milligrams daily. Selenium is another crucial mineral that works synergistically with zinc to protect prostatic cells from oxidative damage, with optimal intake around 100 to 200 micrograms daily. Saw palmetto extract has solid research supporting its ability to reduce BPH symptoms and support healthy prostate size, typically dosed at 120 milligrams daily. Lycopene, the antioxidant that gives tomatoes their red color, accumulates in prostate tissue and provides protective effects against cancer, with benefits seen from consuming cooked tomato products regularly. Omega-3 fatty acids from fish oil reduce inflammation throughout the body, including in prostate tissue, with optimal doses around 1 to 2 grams of combined EPA and DHA daily. Beyond nutrients, certain lifestyle habits maximize the prostate benefits of regular ejaculation. Staying well hydrated ensures adequate fluid volume for producing healthy prostatic secretions and supports urinary flow. Regular physical activity, particularly exercises that engage the pelvic floor like squats and Kegel exercises, improves blood flow to the prostate region and strengthens the muscles involved in ejaculation. Maintaining healthy body weight reduces inflammatory markers that can contribute to prostate problems. Limiting alcohol consumption protects both prostate and sexual function, as excessive alcohol increases inflammation and can impair erectile quality.